Hello, this is Gerald Johan van Waas. I have a theory that explains why we choose certain letters. This theory is based upon a numerical order that I found in a book about Pythagorean order of letters, a numerical order, but there's much more behind it. I figured out that we also follow actually a kind of structure, as if our brain uses a structure that pinpoints every letter in a very specific position so that it creates in together a kind of image, a structural image. So when we have a word which has actually also different meanings, it also, when it's used with the same letters, it's used also as a structural image, one image, despite that we have maybe 3, 4, 5 different meanings. And I can explain it, what kind of image there is used, what it means, what is used, and how the variations can occur even with small or minor differences of emphases, which still uses the same structure. And the theory is based upon the 1, 2, 3 rule of distinction, of certainty and uncertainty. They are all the principles. A kind of yin and yang balance is constantly chosen for each letter, and all of these letters have a specific position in 1, 2, 3 possibilities. And we have 1, 2, 3 possibilities of space pointing out a foundation. We have 1, 2, 3 possibilities of directions, also with horizontal, vertical, and diagonal being dominant. Despite the points, there is the direction more dominant, or it is the structure itself that is dominant, the structure from which we orientate ourselves. And this is structure. This is the structure, the basic structure, which you can learn to understand. And I will explain one word which has different meanings in different languages. I'm speaking about the word GROS, which you can have in slightly different pronunciations, but it's all written as GROS with one S or two S's, and you can find it in German language as GROS, which is big. You have gross as fat, or also as something disgusting. You have le gros is also in French, and it is also big as well. And you have also in Dutch, you have het gros, which means the majority actually. And there are variations, but also these use the same structure, the same structural image which imprints in our brain and which is used for the associations to build around it. We're not very conscious about it, but we can make it conscious, and I will make that conscious by taking out the right positions of this structured dynamism, which I will show you next. So we have, of course, all these different meanings, which seems to be quite different actually, but it also, when you use already your intelligence, you see there can be a kind of extended some kind of extension is there, which gives your which takes your focus actually to it, which you can already derive from it, and that's more or less where we are going to land also. But let's first take out the positions from my scheme and build up the word, so that we can also build up this structural image. Because actually, when we have the word gros, gros, gross, it actually, except for the emphasis, it all has one structural image which has one meaningfulness of focus. And that's what we will focus upon. And that will explain also all the meanings that we derive from it. So we start with G. G is that position of the third kind of from the third kind of category, where we start from a spatial reference, actually, in the kind of way that we see, okay, well, let's focus upon what is bigger. So we have a reference of a context, a structural context, which goes towards what is actually bigger, and that is already the essence from that word, just simply by making it start from G. And so here is the full structure, and so it goes towards a bigger structure. This will be followed by the R, and the R that's the position of the R. So from G to R, R is in the middle. It makes connection from a physical world to the bigger structure, so it makes that connection to what is becoming bigger. And let's have a little bit more explanations in the three categories. So the first category is about starting points. The second category is about directions. The next one will provide us also feedback processes that we see, that we are dealing here with feedbacks that will come back to us. That's the category in general in that time-space context, because time-space context means we don't see immediately there's no direct context in it's fixed in space. No, it's also not fixed in time, but it's fixed in context, in a time-space context, in the right time, in the right space. That's the general third category. So if we go from G to R, we have this connecting to it, contextual connecting to it, of what is enlarging actually. The E is the basis from a timing and so on, but we're not going to use the E as a next letter. We're going to use the letter O. E is the general timing and follow-up and changes and so on. The O is the beginning of changes. So we go to the beginning of changes and start to follow it. But we have to follow the order also. We have already G and R, so we actually have to make a beginning at these expansions. So we have to start from there. So GROS, now we have the right order. We have GROS, and the only thing we still need is the S, of course. But O as well, I will also have the yin and yang balance here a little bit. The first category is about the materializations. So the darker things, let's say. The other, the gray zone of the materialization, let's say, here is the lighter zone of focus. The A is going towards a focus, so it's also the O of focus. So I have that lighter because that makes it much more clear than the darker part of the materialization. It's about lighter because we emphasize something with O. It is that emphasis because things are changing. We put the light there, while the darkness is associated with matter. Here it is the changes. We put the light of our focus upon it. So let's do that as well. So let's have that focus also. So that's still structured within this frame. So we have already GROS. But you see also already there is also a connection. It will become, it is connecting more and more via the R, more towards a feedback. And this is a growing, like GROS, this is a growing extension in that way of feedback, because that's going towards our attention. So we have GROS. The last thing we still need is the S. The S, I put the position there, so it's giving the attention of what is growing actually, what is growing, and what is the effect actually, what it will have on us. And that's what is also our reference point for all these meanings. It's not only that growing like you can have with other letters, it's more growing for your attention is going towards it, and it's growing also with feedback. There's more and more effect that it delivers by you see that something is connecting there, and it has more and more, and it's growing in effect actually. So the variations also have an emphasis with GRO or GROS, like in Dutch. It is of course emphasized on the OS, GROS. So you have that small focus. You have that. So you have this whole process in the beginning. You see that growing, and you have that. So you have the enlargement itself that you're focusing upon. That's why GROS or the majority is there, as well as an association with the S as a double S. Of course, we will have the focus in the end effect, the real end effect, and that's the real end effect. The end effect will be that enlargement of fat, of something disgusting, of what is growing more and more with an effect, with more and more exaggeration actually, as in that focus that is extending beyond what we can still control actually a little bit, and that's what the effect is, and the associations in it, that it almost has a negative effect, as well as you have also on the top layer that you can see that you have the middle part is in control, is the positive connections. The losing it a little bit is at the end. So that's why it's also sensed a little bit in a negative sense as well. This is a general value which is always associated with these positions. So it's not that it's a position that it is now. No, this is base. This is part of the whole structure. I have reasons why to put all these positions there, numerical, geometrical, and so on. But this is the structure, the structural image of GROS, GRO, GROS, and so on. All these associations are there in this structural image. And I think maybe structural image is a better term than sound inform. I'm always looking for a better word, and maybe I have found it finally in this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. Bye.